I mean, you have to forgive me for practically reading this because I tend to lose my places and skip things if I don't. So this class is chords and circles of fifth, and I'm Isolde. This class could be called circle of fourth and fifth, and how to use it, because circle of fifth is actually the short title. It really is a circle of fourth and fifth, depending on which direction you go. On a historical note, the circle of fifth was invented by Nikolai Dulesky around 1670 with the purpose of teaching Russians about Western music. And so basically it's always served the purpose it serves now to help people understand Western music, because we have 12 notes we use, and other places in the world they have more notes or less notes. And so this is specifically for the 12-note chromatic scale. And I assume that you know what a chromatic scale is. Okay. So
tell everybody else.
Okay. So if you don't know what a chromatic scale is, this is a fancy way of saying the 12 notes that we use. So if you start on C, oh, maybe I should use black, will probably show it better. Next is a C sharp or a D flat. D, E sharp or E flat, E, F, F sharp or G flat, G, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, B. And you can always write the C again because the scale always ends pretty much on the same note it starts. So those are the only notes used in Western European American music. So the circle of fifths use all of those notes, and I have a couple of things to show. When it's done, this is the circle of fifths. These type of little cheat sheets are usually pretty inexpensive, and they make them for every kind of instrument there is. So a lot of people, that's one of the first things they do is buy a circle of fifths. One of the YouTube videos I watched, the guy actually tattooed the circle of fifths on his forearm.
That's
really
extreme.
Yeah, he really loves the circle of fifths. So one of the things I think is helpful is when you actually draw it out yourself. So I gave you a cheat sheet actually there that starts, has your circle on it and divisions, but I will start. First thing you do is draw a circle. Now the next thing is to put the notes in. It's like, how do you know how to put the notes? Well, if you don't have nice spaces like that circle has, since there's 12 notes, you can think of it as a clock. So there's 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and that clock, and then you kind of just try to fill in evenly. That way you know where to place your notes. Okay. Now in Western music, we always start with C. So the C goes at the top. And going clockwise is the circle of fifths. So you can count out C, D, E, F, G, the 5 is G. G, A, B, C, D. D, E, F, G, A. A, B, C, D, E. E, F, G, A, B, and do the B small. B, C, D, E, F. And then we'll stop there for the sharps, or the fifth. Going the other way is the circle of fourths. So it's C, D, E, F. F, G, A, B. B, C, D, E. E, F, G, A. A, B, C, D. And that small one I put below the line. So there, you can count either way. If you're going this way, you continue in fifth. This way, you can continue in fourth. But there's a couple, instead of counting it all out, you can just try to memorize the a mnemonic for it. The one I like is Father Charles goes dancing and everybody flips. And then what was Father Charles wearing? He was wearing beads, B-E-A-D. Not only is that the order the notes go in, but it's the order of the sharps and flats that we'll be adding. And probably the most common use for these circle shifts is to identify the keys. Now, a key is a scale made up of, is a scale. I don't know what to say. The key is made up of a scale, or the scale made up of a key. But it's in Western music, it's 8 notes, starting and ending. So basically, the key of C would be follows a pattern, and you would choose, following the pattern, 8 of the 12 notes. So when we go clockwise, it is sharps. C has 0 sharps. G at 1 o'clock has 1 sharp. Now, the way we know which sharp is the mnemonic, which was the order of sharps, Father Charles. So F is the sharp in the key of G.
Okay, wait a minute, you just lost me.
Okay.
Why is it father and not like the C or the F? I mean, the C.
I don't know why it starts with
Okay,
F.
okay, all right.
But
it's just
if you follow the pattern, that's where it starts.
Okay.
That was when I was interesting. I wrote down the answers to some questions I thought I might get.
I always think of goofy things.
But one of the things to remember is any sharps or flats you have carry to the next key.
Right.
So key of D at 2 o'clock has 2 sharps. We carry the F sharp. Father Charles, so the second sharp is C sharp. A has 3 sharps. You carry the F and the C. Father Charles goes. The E has 4. Father Charles goes dancing. The B has 5. Father Charles goes dancing. And then I get to the F, which at 6 o'clock has 6 sharps. Because we continue, you know there's an F sharp in it. So you can't have an F and an F sharp. So this is actually the key of F sharp. Okay. So Father Charles goes dancing and every. Now, that's where we're going to stop for the sharps for now. And we're going to start over at the top for the flats. C has 0 flats. F has 1 flat. Now, the mnemonic for flats was the word B. The B starts with a B, so the 1 flat in the key of F is B flat. Then we go to the B, it has 2 flats, but we know it carries the B flat, so this is actually the key of B flat. And the word B, B, E, so it has an E flat. And for some reason, it works out, all the ones on this side will be flat. So the E has B flat, E flat, A flat, and so it's the key of E flat. A has 4, B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. So this is the key actually of A flat. And the last one we haven't done yet, the key of D flat, because we're carrying it, D flat has 5. E flat, A flat, B flat, and F sharp. But we don't have sharps and flats mixed together.
Right.
So the 4 of D, D, E, F, G, A. Is that right? I'm thinking, no, that's not right. Because D, E, F, G. Yes, because it's 4. Is G flat. And that explains why we have these splits down here. Are you familiar with enharmonic notes?
Yeah, but it's the same note.
Right, it's the same note with 2 different names.
Right.
So the D flat adds a G flat. The next one is a G flat, which also has 6 flats. So whether this is sharps or flats, you have 6. Now, we'll continue this way. G would be G, A, B, C. So C flat, which works out right because C flat and B is the same note, would have 7 flats. Over here, if we're going back this way, the enharmonic of the D, I think for a minute there, is C sharp. And C sharp has 7 sharps. You will almost never see the keys of C sharp and C flat used, because the reason for key signatures is to clearly explain what notes you're using. And it's clearer to have 5 sharps than 7 flats in the key signatures. It's easier to read, to see.
Yeah. I have a question. Could you go around and make enharmonics for everybody else?
Okay, let's see. The E would be F flat. The A flat would be G sharp. That would be D sharp. B flat would be A sharp. And C would be B sharp. And F would be A sharp. The others.
Oh, that's okay. I was just curious.
And one of the reasons you don't see these listed is because they're called theoretical keys. Because actually they will have double flats or double sharps. And the only people who write songs like that are majors.
Yeah. Yeah. Not for the rest of us.
Yeah. Okay, so I have to find my spot, but I already filled in the flats. Okay, at this point, to make the chart more easily read, I'm changing it from a clock into a pie. So each note has a wedge. I'm going to give myself a little space. I'm going to erase some of these.
Mm-hmm. The theoreticals.
Yeah. So, let's see, so I make it into pies. Okay, the next thing is, these are the major keys. There are minor keys too.
Mm-hmm.
The way, and each major key each major key has a minor key that's called its relative minor. And it's because they share the same notes.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find the relative minor by just counting 3. So you go 1, 2, 3. So the relative minor to C is A minor. G, 1, 2, 3 is E minor. B, 1, 2, 3, B minor. A, 1, 2, 3, F sharp minor. And you may notice, it makes sense that this is following the same progression as the outer wheel. So if you don't want to count 3, you could just use the mnemonic, so, and everybody flips. So, dancing goes Charles' father. And then deed which, since this is the related relative minor of a key that has sharps, you can use the enharmonic name, C sharp minor. Now, in the class, the title includes chords. So I'm explaining something about chords.
Okay, good.
The first thing is you can make your major and minor chords using the circle of fifths.
Okay.
To make a major chord, a chord is made out of its 1, 3, and 5 notes. So I'll write down the key of C. So you want the 1 note, the 3 note, and the 5 note. Well, the 1 note is whatever note you choose to be the 1 note. Because it's the circle of fifths, you know the next note to the counter, the next note clockwise will be the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
And then to find the 3rd is below the 5th.
Oh.
So the C chord is C, E, G.
Okay. I think you kind of lost me there.
Okay.
So, all right, you start with the C, and then you go to the G.
And then you need the 3. And it's below the 5.
Why wouldn't it be D? That would be 3 from C.
Actually, the D would be the 2 note.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So let's start with D. The D major chord, well, you know, because we have a D, its 5 note is an A, and its middle note below the A is F sharp. That's an F major
Okay.
chord. Now, for the minors, it's similar. Let's start with C minor. Let's say C minor chord. Once again, the fifth is next to it.
Mm-hmm.
But this time, to find the 3, you go above the tonic. So you have C, G, and above the C is an E flat.
Okay.
And that works anywhere. A flat, you want the key of A flat. I'm sorry, that's a major. I don't want to do major.
Mm-hmm.
F minor. You start with F. The 5 is a C, and the minor is with the tonic, so it's an A flat. I wrote a little explanation on the handout
Oh, okay.
to help remember how to do that.
Okay, great.
So then another thing you can do with the circle of this is find all the chords in a key.
Mm.
I mean, it makes sense, like you know that these are going to be but to remember which ones are minors and which ones aren't, the circle of fifths will help you with that. That's why I cut it in a pie, because what you do is you want a large pie piece. So let's say with C is our tonic. Well, we already know that's the 4th and that's the 5th. So we'll make a big pie wedge, including the 4th and the 5th. These 3 minor keys are also, these are the 6 primary chords in the key of C.
Mm.
If you're familiar, you're going, well, what happens to the 7th chord? Because there's 7 notes in a scale.
Yeah.
Follow the line that's right next to the tonic, across, and right there is your 7th.
Okay.
So you can do it anywhere. If you want the key of A, capture the 4th and the 5th. These are the 6 chords, primary chords in the key of A, and then you follow the line across. And A flat, which would be G sharp, is the diminished chord.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next, you can use this to tell you some of the popular chord progressions. The most popular chord progression in music is the 1, the 4, and the 5. Well, we know that this is the 1, this way is the 4, that way is the 5. So we know that you'd play, if you wanted to play a chord progression in C, C, F, G. And you can do that anywhere. E flat, A flat, B flat.
Okay. Do you mean you'd play a C chord, then an F chord, then a G chord?
Right.
Okay.
Generally, most songs, it seems like the C chord would be played the most.
Mm-hmm.
And then the F would be thrown in as kind of a variation for the C.
Mm-hmm.
And then towards the end of the line, they would play a G, and it would resolve back to the C.
Mm-hmm.
The second most common chord progression, I have it written on your sheet, but I'll write it here too, is 2, 5, 1. Now, the reason I wanted to write that was to point out it's important to remember the 2, written as little Roman numerals, is a minor chord, because we're going to be using the outer ones, so you aren't going to see the minor sign. So this chord progression is listed in reverse on the circle. So any notes you pick, if you go to, that will be the 2 chord, that will be the 5 chord, and that will be the 1 chord. Because remember, it's a D minor, G, C. So over here, if you wanted key of E flat, count 2, So it would be F minor, B flat, E flat. It's probably, that progression is probably more used in like jazz. And one of the things you can do if you're playing an instrument that uses chords, it's a good way to practice unfamiliar chords. Like you rarely use an A flat or E flat.
Yeah.
You know, you transpose the song so you don't have to play this chord.
Right, yeah.
But you can just practice over and over again the 2, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, practicing chords that you don't play a lot in other songs. Just get used to playing them. Okay. Also, the circle of this can be used to help you transpose. Now, it is not a transposition wheel. I have a transposition wheel here, so you can look at them. People often compare the two. Some people call it a circle fifth, and while you can tell from the note order of the notes, it is based on the circle fifth.
Yeah.
But it's not a circle fifth. It's a transposition wheel.
Okay.
But you can use the circle fifth to transpose by simply counting. Let's say you're playing a song in the key of C, and it's just a little too low. So you want to change it to the key of E. So your song, let's say it's a 1, 4, 5 position. So you have a C, you have an F, and a G are the 3 chords in that song. So you count the C, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then to discover what the other two, you count the other ones too. You say, well, that established that it's 4 spots different. So you go to the F, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you go to the G, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you've transposed the song.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. Wait, when you talk about transposing, does that mean every time a C is written, you really play an E?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you're changing, so the whole song shifts up or down.
Okay.
To do if it's a song that's in a minor key, you do the same thing. The song is in A minor, and you want it in F sharp minor. So 1, 2, 3. Let's say A minor, B minor, and E minor are the chords. So 1, 2, 3 with the F sharp minor. And then you find your D minor and go 1, 2, 3. And the E, 1, 2, 3. So you can either do that on an inner circle, or you can, since the notes are in the same order, you could just get the note name. You can use the outer circle, but you have to remember that they are minor chords, not
right.
And then another thing you could do with the circle of fifths is it can help you in composition. One of the common things to make songs a little more interesting is write either the chorus or a bridge in a different key than the song, the most of the song is written in.
Okay.
So the first way to make a difference, if you want it to be just a slight difference, you go to close keys, and it means literally close. So say you're writing a song in a C, and you want the chorus to be in a different key. Like if you choose G or F, it won't be too jarring because there's only one note difference.
Right.
Of course, if you want to be jarring, you can pick a key that, depending on the type of what you're going for in the song. The second way to do it is to use parallel keys. And this really confused me because I finally found someone who actually explained what a parallel key is. It's simple. It's a major key, and its parallel is the minor. So C parallel is C minor. C minor's parallel is C. A minor's parallel is A. F sharp's parallel is F sharp minor. So it's pretty easy. So you could say go to that and find what chords are in that key. So if you're writing in C, you go to the C minor and figure out what chords are in it, and you can use those for the chorus. Another use of the parallel keys is borrowed chords. If you've ever been playing a song in the key of C and you come across B flat, you go, wait a minute, there's no B flat in C.
Yeah.
It's from the parallel key.
Okay.
And then the last way to make these sound different is to use the relative minor as the second key in the song.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be the same chords, but used in a different pattern. We talked about the 1, 4, 5 pattern. Well, in C, we know that's C, F, G. But if you're playing it in A minor, it's all minor chords. So that will give you a different feel, even though it's using all the same notes.
Yeah.
And you can also use the relative minor if you're soloing. It makes it sound more complex. If you start on C and end on C, you can solo fine. But if you start then on the A when you're in the key of C and end on the key of C, the relationship between them, just like for the here, you get a different feel, and it's subtle, but it works.
Okay, so if you were playing the song in C, and then it was your turn to solo, and you just started on an A, but you're still no sharps or no flats.
Right.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
That's cool.
It gives you a different feel.
Yeah.
And I think that's everything I have.
Okay, this is interesting. I think I understand it a little bit better now.
Would you, any questions? Any more questions?
Oh, well, I still got to hear it like a zillion more times.
And well, that's one of the reasons. I started when I was watching all the different YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And they would explain. I would draw it out.
Right.
And that really helped me. I no longer have to go Father Charles. At this point, I actually know the order.
Okay. Yeah.
But because for me, it's a tactile thing. Even like when I was in college, if I took notes and wrote them down, I remembered it better.
Right. Yeah.
And so you just draw it out. And I try to give little helpful hints on the uses without writing whole paragraphs about it.
Yeah.
So that because that's a lot of uses, and to remember which ones does what.
Yeah. No, I like your Father Charles. Yeah. Because I still go, every good boy does fine, and FACE. That helps a lot.
And some of the things you learn. I did not learn this one thing when I was learning music as a child, but one of the ukulele classes, there's a teacher on YouTube that I really like named Matt Stead.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about, he has a class on, actually a whole playlist on music theory as it relates to the ukulele. And so to teach the chromatic, he mentions, you will notice, each of these is a half step, right?
Yeah.
But between these, there's no sharp or flat.
Right.
And he says the way you remember it is because elephants fart. Okay. And now I can't go through the scale without
that. Oh, great. Yeah. I mean, that is one strange thing. I mean, I know it goes into like sound theory and stuff like that, but it is strange that there's no half step.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Isn't that there's, or they are?
It's all math, really.
Yeah.
And I did pretty good in math in school, so maybe that's why I'm starting to understand music theory.
Yeah.
Because you will start, each time you draw this out, you'll start to see relationships that you didn't see before.
Right.
And it's like, wait a minute, because it's consistent too. I mean, each of these scales has 8 notes, and each time you add one, and the more music theory you know, the easier it is to remember these things too. Like, you understand scales.
Right, yeah.
And you know what, so you know the 7 is always a half, on a major scale, that the 7 is always a half step lower than the tonic, than the octave.
No.
Oh.
I mean,
Okay.
I know how to play a scale.
B is a half step below C instead of
Okay.
full step.
Oh, all right. Okay.
So yes, it's whole, half, whole, half.
Okay.
Well, you will notice going this way, the added sharp is always the 7th.
Ah, all right.
And then going this way, it's always the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that is. It's math.
Yeah.
And so music theory, I think, is one of those things. The more you know, the more you know.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
it starts filling in. And I took 1 month of paid ukulele lessons. And I don't think the guy played ukulele.
Really? Was this online or
No,
in real
actually,
life?
in first real life. I was a guitar player thinking that he could,
Oh.
and he just kept wanting to teach me music theory. I was like, I don't want to learn that. I want to learn to get better at ukulele.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, let's practice it. And he taught me 2 things that I appreciated. The one is when I was having trouble making a chord
Mm-hmm.
or changing from one chord to another. He said, well, practice it without changing all 3 fingers.
Oh.
Just move 1 finger and practice that. And when you get good at that, move 2 fingers. Because when you're practicing, it's okay if it sounds like that.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, the very last lesson, he pointed out the triple fifth.
Okay.
And I had heard the term, but I never knew that you just add 1 each time and they're in order.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. That's really genius. I thought you had to memorize that.
And so, like, now all of a sudden I can look at a key signature and actually know what key it is.
Yeah.
I used to always, I would cheat. I have a music program for typing scores.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was trying to figure out what a song was, I'd go to the tool for putting in the key signature, and I would keep putting in key signatures till I got one that looked like the one of the song I was playing. It's like, okay, it's an E.
What program do you use?
I have Noteworthy, which is an older one, and I like it, but it just uses scores. I now got Muse Score, which also does tab.
Okay, all right.
And so that's really nice because I can read music, but when I'm learning a song, often it's easier just to look at the tab.
Yeah.
And it's funny, my songbook, I have some songs that I have on the iPad, I have a songbook app. And some of the songs are just in regular musical score, some are just in tab, and some actually have both lines.
All right.
And that's it. I'll find that I think of the notes differently depending on how I'm playing it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, thanks. This has been really great. I'm going to have to find one of these.
Yeah, there's like just, I will admit, I get these kind of things from Amazon.
Okay.
But you can just Google it, and plus also there's probably several websites you can just download
Yeah.
a free copy.